I'm so glad that you came back for class 2. We're going to talk about trumps today. It's a different kind of hand you can play. Remember, last week we talked about something called a no trump hand. And in a no trump hand, high card won, right? Highest card in the suit led won the trick. Well, this week I'm going to talk about a new way you can win tricks, and it's actually my favorite. Let's get started. We're going to talk about a trump hand. So what happens is in the bidding, a partnership might declare a specific suit trump. Now, you don't know anything about bidding yet. You didn't even know it was possible yet, but it is. In bridge, there's a conversation that goes on between your partnerships, and that's called the bidding. And one partnership might figure out that they have a lot of cards in one suit between their two hands. When they do, they'd like that to be the trump suit. What does that mean? When you're playing with a trump suit, cards of that suit are stronger than cards in any other suit. Any trump, even the lowest trump, is higher, stronger than the highest card in any other suit. Now, the rules to play the hand are the same. If you can follow suit led, you must always follow suit. So you always have to follow suit. If everyone follows suit, the highest card in the suit led wins. So that's just what we did last week. But here we go. If you do not hold any cards in the suit that was led, then you can choose to play a card from the trump suit. You don't have to, but you can choose to. If more than one trump is played to a trick, the highest trump played wins. So you have to follow suit if you can, but if you can't follow suit, you can play a trump. You can choose to play a trump. And if you play a trump, you win. Even if it's a small trump, you'll still win that trick. But if more than one trump is played, then the highest trump played wins. And you can also lead a trump if you want. So let's just look, see how that works. So clubs are trumps. I just chose that. I just decided I wanted clubs to be trump. The opening lead was from East, and they led the 6 of diamonds. South played the king of diamonds. West played the 6 of clubs, and North the 4 of diamonds. So what card won? Clubs, because clubs are trumps. And who won? West. Now remember, if West wins, East wins as well. So remember, it's your partnership game. So West won because they played a trump. What do you know about West's hand? He doesn't have any diamonds. If he had a diamond, he had to follow suit. So when he plays a club, we know that he does not have any cards in the suit that was led. Let's look at a different one. Remember, I said you could choose to trump, but you did not have to trump. On this one, North led the 4 of diamonds. East played the king. South played the 6. West does not have any diamonds. What should West play? Anything but a club. We call that the discard. Any suit, any card in any suit, but not a trump. And why? Why shouldn't you play a trump? Who was winning the trick? East, right? His partner was winning. So West shouldn't trump because his partner has already won the trick. Now, I'll just tell you honestly, every bridge player in the world has at some point, their partner was winning and they trumped their partner's card. That's just something that happens. And sometimes you'll trump even though you could have followed suit. You'll just forget from it. You'll get all excited. Everyone's done it. It's not a big deal. Just when you recognize what you've done, somebody might say, you don't have any diamonds or something like that. Just fix it. But everybody in the world's done it. And you'll do it a couple of times. And after a while, you'll kind of catch on and be more aware of it when it's happening. So the time you would choose not to trump was if your partner was already winning the trick. Okay? Right. So let's play a trump hand. Remember, in this hand, clubs are going to be trumps. You're still going to follow suit led for each trick. If you can follow suit, you must follow suit. If everyone follows suit, the highest card in the suit led wins the trick. Or if you don't have any cards in the suit that was led, you could choose to trump. If more than one trump is played, the highest trump wins. We're going to keep the cards in front of us, just like we did last week. You're going to turn them face down and point the length of the cards in the direction of the partnership that won the trick. So for this hand, you still got your plastic board in the middle of the table. So you can go north, south, and east and west. And this time we want south to make the first lead. All right, y'all have fun. Wow. North and south were the lucky ones on this hand, weren't they? Look at all of those trumps. Remember, the highest card played in the suit led won unless a trump was played. So which cards won tricks this time? In north and south, they probably won with their aces and kings. They probably won a lot of tricks with their trump cards, didn't they? They might have won tricks with some of their small diamonds because they didn't have a long suit, but they had a lot of diamonds between their two hands. Winning tricks with small cards and a long suit is not as common in a trump contract as it is in no trump, but it happens. How many trumps did North-South hold? 9. Oh, 9. That's a lot. Did they have any voids? What does void sound like to you? Void is 0 cards in a suit. A suit that you don't have any cards in, that's called a void. Did they have any suits that they had 1 card in? We call that a singleton. So did North-South have any singletons? They did. They had the singleton 8 of spades and the singleton 3 of hearts. Was that useful when they were trying to win tricks? Did it help them win any extra tricks by having those singletons? Yeah, it probably did. Because once that 3 of hearts was gone, if anybody led any hearts, they could trump, right? And once the 8 of spades was gone, same thing. Once the 8 of spades was gone, they could trump any other spades that were playing. So they might have taken tricks with those little tiny clubs. Singletons and voids are really good things to have. Now, east-west, how many trumps did you have? Only 4. That puts you at a tremendous disadvantage. When the opponents have 8 or more cards in one suit between their two hands, and that's trumps, that's very much to their advantage. And what cards won tricks for y'all? Did you win many? My guess is you might have won 1 or 2 because they trumped, didn't they? Let's talk a little bit more about bridge, kind of about how the game goes. Remember I told you that it was invented like 100 years ago. Well, there's a part of bridge called bidding. Obviously, on that last hand you played, and on this hand for that matter, the opponents, north and south, would always want for clubs to be trumps because look how many clubs they have. And the east and west hands, well, you can tell that they've got a lot of spades. So what happens is there's kind of a competition between the two partnerships about trying to win tricks. So how easy was it for North-South to win tricks on this hand with clubs as trumps? Pretty darn easy, right? When you have 8 or more cards in a suit between your two hands, we call that a fit. F-I-T, fit. And that's what you're looking for. Each partnership is trying to discover if they have a fit in a suit between their two hands, and that's the suit they'd like to be trumps. So there's a competition that goes on. We call it the bidding in bridge, for each side trying to have their suit be the trump suit. Whoever is successful has an advantage over the other people because they have more trumps than the other partnership. So what the people who invented bridge did 100 years ago is they said, okay, if your partnership has the privilege of naming your suit as trumps, then you're going to have to win 6 tricks out of those 13 before we ever start counting towards how many tricks you said you were going to win. The declaring side is the people that won the privilege of calling their suit trumps. And those first 6 tricks that they must win, we call those book. I don't know why they called it book. They just did. We're kind of stuck with it. So the cards are shuffled, they're dealt, counted, sorted. Bidding happens. And this bidding is an auction. One side is saying, I'd like to have my suit as trumps. The other side is saying, I'd like to have my suit as trumps. And they're kind of fighting it out to decide who gets to have their suit as trumps. One partnership is going to win. We're calling them the declarers. And they're going to have committed to win a specific number of those 13 tricks. And we call that the contract. That's where the name of bridge comes from. It's actually contract bridge. So they're going to say, we're going to win X number of those 13 tricks with this suit as trumps, or it could be no trump. And of that partnership, the player who first bid that suit becomes what we call declarer. And this is strange. I don't think anybody has it except bridge. Their partner puts their hand face up on the table after the opening lead, and they're called dummy. That's actually because they can't speak. You're supposed to just play the card that their partner tells them. The opposing partnership, we call them the defenders. They're trying to keep the declarer from winning the number of tricks promised. I don't expect you to understand all of this exactly right now because you don't know anything about bidding. You don't know how it happened or how that conversation goes. But in bridge, there is this conversation that goes on between each of the partnerships. And what we're trying to do is have our suit as trumps or play a no trump. The primary goal in bridge is for your partnership to win the largest number of points possible in every hand play. Not necessarily tricks, but the number of points. The declarer's goal in a hand is to take at a minimum the number of tricks they promised they would win. More is just better. The defender's goal is to set the declarer by not allowing them to take the number of tricks promised. Only one partnership is going to win points on each hand, whoever's successful in their goal. So let's play. I just want you, for the rest of today, play more hands, build them out, have fun with it. Next week, what I'm going to do is talk to you more about how you score points and how you can score the most points possible on every hand. But for now, have fun. Why don't you just go ahead and play with clubs as trumps, just deal several hands out, have a trump suit, and make sure we understand the mechanics of how that hand is played. And we're going to get to the rest of it. I promise you, I'd just like to give it to you in just tiny bites. Okay. I'll see you next week.